I've been playing live since 1996, and I've been a student musician as well as teacher since 2004. And there's a particular problem that I keep hearing pop up over and over and over again. I would expect it from my students, but from professional musicians who are playing live and sometimes studio recordings, that's completely unacceptable because it's such a simple concept to grasp and practice it. Now, I asked my drummer friends about it and they explained to me what the situation was. A lot of us may be assuming that it's about strumming. Yes, strumming is involved, but the fact that we keep overlooking this particular concept is concerning because it's affecting all of our rhythms and how people are hearing us. So let's analyze it. A lot of us, when we're learning how to strum, are being told which way the pick is going, but we're not being told where the strum is coming from. So for example, we're strumming a down, 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 up, down. And we'll get that extremely well, but we still sound awkward when we play. And then our teacher will tell us, well, just learn more strumming patterns and you'll be perfectly fine. I find that to be irresponsible because there are over 60,000 variations on 16th notes, and we're supposed to know them all because we've learned a couple more strumming patterns? No, 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 no. Now, what we also have to keep in mind is we're not being told where in the world beat 1 is. A lot of us are assuming that we know where it is, but what they don't understand is that there is a stereotype that guitar players don't know how to count. And why am I hearing so many bad live musicians? And another problem is a lot of people can't change genres because they haven't studied it enough. No, it doesn't work like that. What you have to know is, can you control beat 1? And here's why. When I was in middle school band, we were in the largest room in the building, but it still wasn't big enough because we were crammed into that room. And I played trombone and tuba. This put me right next to the drummer. And every time the band was off, he would hit the snare louder and louder. Just to let you know, that snare was right behind my head. And I can guarantee you, we knew exactly where that beat was. Now, how did he know that we were off? I'm going to play that strumming pattern, down, 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 up, down, at 120 beats per minute. Afterwards, I'm going to play it again at 121 and 119. That's only 1 beat per minute off. And you're going to notice within 4 measures, things are going to start to sound really strange. What's happening here is our beat 1s are not lining up. Some of us are going too fast, some of us are going too slow, and that's why it starts to sound awkward or sometimes even wooden, because we are not comfortable with knowing exactly where beat 1 is. If you're a beginner, it makes sense. You aren't used to it yet, but if you're a professional and you start hearing that, a lot of us start to ignore it because we know the audience can't hear it. But I promise you, the audience can feel something is off. That's why they aren't listening to you, and that's why a lot of our quality of music is going down, because now people don't know what's good and what's bad. Apparently this is good because nobody's telling this musician that they're off. So how do we fix this? There are 2 reasons why you should not skip these exercises. 1, if you already know how to find beat 1, this is a great way to make sure that other people can find beat 1 faster and why they keep losing it. The second one is, trying to do an exercise without understanding it is along the lines of trying to dig for gold in a mountain you haven't surveyed. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the beat ourselves to see how things feel, and then we're going to put on a metronome to figure out how it feels against something else. So let's count to 4 and clap always on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice there's a sensation that goes there. A lot of us, what we'll do is we'll start to play, we'll get distracted, and we stop checking in on if we feel that feeling or not. And now we're off because the band is paying attention to that feeling and the guitar player isn't. That's the stereotype. We aren't even bothering to pay attention. We're in our own little universe. So let's try beat 2 with a metronome. So now let's try this with beat 2. That high one, that's beat 1. So we have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So what's going on here is beat 1 is telling us where beat 2 is. We just don't hit there. So what if we do beat 3? When we do beat 3, there are 2 things that are going to happen here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first thing we're going to have to develop is patience. Notice we want to clap on beat 1, but we can't, so we have to wait. And that patience can get kind of annoying. The other one is we start to notice that beat 1 and beat 3 feel very, very similar. It's very, very normal to get them confused. The more often you do it though, the better you're going to get at it. So now let's look at beat 4. So when we try beat 4, we're going to notice something kind of interesting happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's two ways we can think about this. We can say, hey, it's really close to beat 1, or it's really far away from beat 1, right? Both are correct. But what I want you to start doing is notice how it feels. So when I ask most people to do that exercise, I ask them to count along with the song and clap on a particular beat. They immediately start counting. But people who really know how to count always wait because they have to feel where that beat is. They're looking for beat 1 and then they start counting. Now, a lot of drummers who are really good will know it instantly. A lot of us are just guitar players, just trying to survive out here. It's okay. But another thing that starts to happen is our brain starts to get excited and starts to speed up, or it thinks it's too easy and starts to speed up. You want to make sure that you're always checking in on where the rest of the band is so that way you know where beat 1 is. Another problem that starts to happen is we start to think, hey, this song is supposed to be slow, so we slow down even more, or we start to get bored and we start to drag. Always check in on where the band is and where is beat 1. So now we're experts, right? We can do all those exercises and we should be good at all times. Not necessarily. So each genre of music actually approaches beat 1 differently. So for example, if you're in a pop, rock type of situation, you're going to be emphasizing beats 2 and 4 more because it's more dancey, poppy, groovy. But if you're like in a punk metal situation, they're going to emphasize beat 1 heavily. Where if you're in a reggae, they're actually going to emphasize in between beats 1 and 2, also known as the end of 1 or the upbeat of 1. What about a salsa? They are so emphatic about the beat that they actually expect you to just know where it's at and play every other rhythm except where the beat is. So what I'm going to suggest that you do is you go through the predominant forms of music, like the ones I've said, rock, country, reggae, pop, R&B, funk, all the genres that you can think of that you might run into in your playing situations, and see how one feels different. You're going to notice that because you can count in these other places, it becomes more obvious where beat 1 is. This is how you change genres. That has nothing to do with like, I have to study more in a particular place to know how to do it. They're just treating the rhythms differently. So now we're going to play it perfectly every single time, right? Nope. There's actually a very strange phenomenon that happens when you are dead on the beat every single time, and I'm going to try to demonstrate it with a metronome. Right now, I'm at 90 beats per minute, okay? If I clap at the exact same time as the metronome is going to disappear. Let's see if I can still do this. So hopefully it became quieter or you couldn't hear it. I don't know how it's going to survive the editing process. But if you're doing that with a gigantic band and everyone hits at the exact same time, we're going to cancel each other out. Now, is it going to be like perfectly dead silent? No, but we are going to sound not as full. So the whole point here isn't to be perfect. The whole point is to just control beat 1.